Hey folks, Mike Dawkins from WorldCast Anglers here with your Jackson Hole weekend fly fishing forecast for the weekend of April 4th and 5th. Looks a little bit more like spring over here in Swan Valley compared to Jackson and compared to Teton Valley. We actually had some snow. It's not super warm outside right now, hovering right around 30-something degrees. But we've got some good fishing options coming up this weekend. Weather looks fair to good in some areas of our fishing opportunities around Jackson. But the big order of business here is if you're reading any of those social distancing rules or regulations or suggestions, we're going to have to spread out. We're starting to see some boat ramps in the Rocky Mountain West and the Pacific Northwest close because they've become these common mutual staging grounds and gathering points for people. So the worst thing that we can do is all congregate in the same space. It's not healthy and it's not going to help our fishing opportunities here looking forward into the month of April. So do what you think with spreading out. If there's a couple other people in a spot, don't go there. If you're traveling from out of the area to come fishing on the South Fork of the Snake, please be considerate of our small communities like Swan Valley, like Teton Valley, like Ashton and Jackson. So just be cognizant and aware of what you're touching, what you're doing, and where you're fishing. If there's a couple people already at one boat ramp, don't go there. If there's a couple other people parked in a walkway fishing spot, don't go there. Go find another one. There's plenty of fishing between the South Fork of the Snake, the Henry's Fork, the Teton, and other places to go where you don't have to congregate in the same space. Maybe it's not the best time to float and use boat ramps right now. You can get around fine walkway fishing and hitting some other spots. And worst comes to worst, we've got all summer ahead of us. So I know everyone is getting a little stir crazy out there, wanting to go fish, including myself, but we have to keep our wits about us because who knows? The state or somebody could close them down if we start seeing these boat ramps heavily utilized. So think about that this weekend when you're coming up or you're looking for your fly fishing options in the Jackson Hole and Teton Valley area. The South Fork of the Snake behind me, 7,140 CFS being discharged from Palisades Dam. There's 8,930 CFS there on the lower river. We saw that increase come in today, to around 7,000 CFS. Water managers are definitely monitoring some potential, inflow and anticipated inflow increases coming into the South Fork of the Snake with some 10-day weather models next week. Latter part of next week, it looks pretty warm. So, they're starting to make adjustments in our outflows coming from Palisades Dam, which is a good thing. At least they're looking at it now instead of in the June time frame. But the South Fork is cold. It's still mostly a nymphing game. Rubber legs, San Juan worms, zebra midges, pheasant tails, blue wing olive imitations, rainbow warriors, any of that sort of technical tailwater stuff is going to be pretty good. Streamer fishing has been so-so, especially with this increase in water. I would concentrate on slower pieces of water with a sink tip or a real heavy sinking poly leader and not moving my streamers very fast. Keep in consideration, 7,000 CFS in the South Fork of the Snake is a lot of water, and it's very cold water right now. You throw in a cold ambient temperature, things can happen and you can get in danger quite quickly. So we don't want to put any more stress on our first responders or any of our medical staff this time of year. So just be cognizant, just be aware, and have fun if you're out on the river. The Henry's Fork, 531 CFS being discharged from Island Park Dam. 1,340 CFS there on the lower river around Ashton. Warm River, Jump Off, Ashton, Ora, Vernon, Chester, and Fun Farm, all of those boat ramps are open. So definitely, as I was saying, floating shouldn't be closed, but we shouldn't be congregating and gathering in these float spaces. So if you're the first one there, go for it. If you're the 15th person there, or maybe even the 9th, or even the 4th, I would definitely start to think about, walk waiting in a couple spots here and there. We've seen a lot of midges on the Henry's Fork. Our report last week was from there. We had some really good nymphing with midges and rubber legs. I also had some really good fishing, swinging streamers down there around Ora and whatnot. So the Henry's Fork, it's probably our most consistent winter fishery this time of year. It will also be popular coming up you know, in these next couple weeks when it's warm, and we still have these orders of non-essential businesses and things along those lines. So once again, spread out, not everyone in one space. The Snake in Jackson, 390 CFS being discharged from Jackson Lake Dam, 1,510 CFS going into Palisades Reservoir before the salt in the grays. Wilson, South Park, Astoria, those are all open for floating options, and there's a lot of wade fishing options there on the Snake. Remember, Grand Teton National Park is still closed, but the Snake can offer some really good pre-runoff fishing with midges, blue wings, Capnia stoneflies. No squallas yet. I wouldn't expect them anytime soon with how cold it's going to get these next couple nights. So concentrating on your nymphing, you know, maybe some dry fly fishing in some slow slack water areas, and streamer fishing in those same slow water areas as well. The Teton and Teton Valley, 286 CFS on the upper river, 602 CFS there around St. Anthony. We've actually seen the Teton drop in flow, which means we've been having cooler days and cooler nights. So water's getting colder and it's getting clearer. With that being said, you can still fish, you know, the Teton. Most of the boat ramps are open, but it's mostly still a nymphing game or a big dry dropper game, some streamer fishing as well. But I probably would wait for some things to warm up before I would expect a lot out of the Teton fishery here for the next couple weeks. It's definitely one to take note, and it's definitely one to take note if the Snake, the South Fork, or the Henry's Fork are really busy. You know, as I hammer away with the spreading out and not congregating and gathering in some spaces, look for the Teton to offer, you know, a little bit more options and a little bit more space to spread out everywhere around us. Palisades Reservoir behind me is 87% of capacity. Jackson Lake is 76% of capacity. The Snake, Upper Snake River Basin snowpack is 115% of average, which is primo, and the Henry's Fork is looking at 105% of snowpack average. So what that means is we've got a lot of good water stored up high that not necessarily is going to be coming down anytime soon, which will correlate to a nice water season this coming summer and this coming fall. We just have to wait for it. We just have to be patient, and we just have to be smart and stay healthy and well. Next Wednesday, April 8th, we've got Jeff Currier coming in live on a webinar with WorldCast anglers with Trout Bumming the World. It'll be at 6 p.m. Take a look at our profile link. Take a look at the details below. We'll be listing out those webinar details. Just click the link, register for the webinar, and more details will be sent to you about that on Wednesday night, April 8th at 6 p.m. Jeff Currier, Trout Bumming the World. It's one of my most favorite presentations from Jeff. Jeff lives in Victor. He's a very accomplished artist and trout bum, and we are more than happy to have him on our first WorldCast Anglers webinar moving forward in the month of April. We still have limited operations there until April 15th, if not later. Depends on what the governor of Idaho and our local communities say. So if you need anything, call us, email us. We're here to help you guys. We're here to help you stay on the water in a smart and dispersed fashion. So thanks for tuning in. Be safe, be well, don't congregate, and we'll see you here next week.